Good morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend, and listeners worldwide. Welcome on in to another edition of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I'm your host, James Espinosa, and this morning we have Marcos Maldoquin in the house. What's up, Marcos?
What's up, James? Glad to be back. It's been a while, but I'm good to be. Feels good to be here.
It's honestly good to have you here and to hear your voice, man. We missed you over these past couple of weeks, but you're here. We're ready to party. We got Adin Ducker behind the glass producing and co-hosting.
What's Gucci with it?
And we have a special guest this morning for the listening audience. He is the host of the Veterans Roundtable. He is a Korean War veteran himself. He is a Hall of Fame referee, and he is the judge, jury, and executioner of Man Card Court. Dotson Lewis is in the house. I'm doing fantastic, Dotson. Thank you for asking.
That's exactly what I asked.
There we go. Look at that.
What language is that?
That would happen to be Japanese. I get them confused. Yoboseo.
So that's Japanese.
No, that's Korean. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I knew that
what
one.
I said first was.
Nice. So Dotson's in the house this morning.
But we're with it.
And if you guys have questions for Dotson, I will have an open Ask Dotson Anything, an ADA Ask Dotson Anything on the text line, 361-882-5397. Dotson is a wealth of knowledge. He's a walking encyclopedia. He's been there. He's done that. He has a World Series ring from the 1986 World Series. He was the head of the officials in that World Series. So ask Dotson anything today, 361-882-5397. Hit us up on the text line. All right, packed show today. Final Four talk will be coming up later on. We do have some NFL headlines to discuss. The Islanders have a brand new head basketball coach. We're going to play some audio from him. Some interesting audio. Interesting audio from the new Islanders head basketball coach. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But right now, I want to go ahead and dive into opening weekend for Major League Baseball because, my goodness, baseball's here. What a time to be alive. 15 games on Thursday. Games all weekend long. It's been beautiful to have the great game back. And we have the Hall of Fame referee, Dotson Lewis, in the house. Dotson, it's been a while since we've had you on. I want to know, first of all, I'll go around the table here, guys. Our thoughts on the new rules of the game now that we've had a few days to kind of check them out in action. The pace of the play, the stolen bases, the bigger bases, the no shifting against hitters. Also, the pitch clock. That's a big one. The pitch clock, etc. Our thoughts on the pace of play. I'll start with Marcos Maldoquin.
So far it's been pretty good. I was kind of worried about it at first, and I know I voiced those opinions on air a couple weeks back, but I've really been enjoying it. These first couple games that I've been watching, the pace of play is up. It's like I don't have to sit down or have the game in the background, you know what I mean? While I just go about my day. It's not really a pastime anymore. There's a lot of action, and the games are moving, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
I agree with you. It's crazy to me because, of course, big Astros fan here, right? Watched every game so far to date. Planning on watching the game Sunday as well. Big time Stros guy. Anyways, 1 hour into the game the other day, they're already in the fifth inning. 1 hour, and you're in the fifth inning. The pace of play has been crazy. It's like I can't even leave my TV. I can't even go do little chores around the house because I'm scared to miss an at-bat. I look away to my phone, and it's already a 3-2 count. I'm like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah, all these games are ending under 3 hours, and that's what MLB wanted. And for the most part, you're seeing the star players, relatively look the same. I was a little bit worried about Framber Valdez, but he had a solid outing because he's one of those that he takes his time on the mound.
Yeah, no,
and
you're
I
right.
was worried that would affect what he does, but he looked like the Framber to me, so... I feel like this, the professionals adjusted for the most part. This ain't like a shift or anything like that where that's I feel like the shift is more of a thing that changes the game more than this in terms of performance on the field than the pitch clock.
Yeah. No, you're right, because there's been a couple of times, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it, Marcos, in Rangers games, and I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it in other various MLB games. Well, Astros games in particular. There was a couple of times yesterday where Yordan Alvarez, if hits one to the right side of the infield, hits one to second base, first base, there's usually a third infielder standing there, but he got a couple of base hits, little seeing-eye singles. Same thing with Kyle Tucker. He got a nice base hit up the middle where normally they would have shifted over the shortstop. And those two base hits led to a couple of RBI for the Astros. So you're kind of already seeing it where guys like Yordan, guys like Kyle Tucker, guys like, some big pool left-handers, Joey Gallo, for instance. Seager, they're getting more base hits now. Dotson Lewis, you are a man of many traditions. You are a Hall of Fame referee. How do the new Major League Baseball rules grind your gears? Do they shake you up a little bit? Are you okay with these? The floor is yours. Dotson, let us know.
Okay, the first you're worrying about the speeding up, we always had that. It was just whether the coaches, I ran a clock. If the guy said, umpire second base, he runs a pitch clock. But he didn't do anything about it until one of the coaches or one of the managers complained.
Yeah.
And I think we wasted a lot of time. Notice how we work high school baseball now. We don't let them mess around. You notice? We're getting more pitches done. Now, I'm in favor of them getting the ball back, not jacking around and throwing the next.
Well, let me just real quick rebuttal on the high school thing, Dotson.
Are they letting them mess around?
Let's just say we've had a couple of 3-hour games so far this year.
I think that there has been, especially locally, there are some pitchers who work very quick, and we've had some games end really fast, under 2 hours, and then we've had some games absolutely drag on where there are some guys taking a break, wiping the sweat off of their brow, then wiping it off of their pants.
Yeah.
And, let me catch my breath here because I threw one pitch, I'm out of breath, So there has been both sides of that coin.
Therefore, they need to start enforcing the rules.
So what about your thoughts? So you have no problem with pace of play. You like the speed up.
No, I have no problem with slow games either.
Okay.
Personally, because I think there's more to baseball, just pitching. I'm sitting there trying to figure out what they're going to throw, what they're talking about, and all that. The more you know about the game and what's going on with the game and the thought process, you don't really worry about the speed.
So the pitch clock, yay or nay on your part? Or are you indifferent?
Oh, I'm indifferent at this point, but
Okay.
if they're taking advantage of it and just messing around, then the umpire has the opportunity to speed.
So you don't mind that the game is moving just a tad bit faster?
I don't mind.
Okay, there we go. I don't mind either. 361-882-5397. Get your thoughts into the text line. Are you okay with the new rules now that we've had almost a full weekend to see them implemented in Major League Baseball?
So what you might be proposing is a pitch clock that's not necessarily enforced until it becomes a consistent issue throughout the game.
That's true. Yeah.
That's fair.
I
can
like
read
that.
that as an umpire. I can read it, and I know, and I can tell my crew chief, if I'm the crew chief, I just quickly, I do a warning. Hey, it's over, guys. We play.
Hurry your ass up.
So you're saying a warning system should have been implemented?
I would just give a certain signal to the whoever the manager is or who's running it at that point. I'd give him a certain signal, whatever I wanted to do. If I give you this, the thumbs up, you're okay. If I give you that, speed it up.
Okay.
We have certain signals that we give coaches in all sports now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
We have Dotson Lewis in here, Hall of Fame referee, breaking down Major League Baseball's brand new rules. First-hand analysis from the Hall of Fame ref himself.
No, that's pretty good. I have yet to hear anybody talk about how there should be a warning system in play. Because I think if you have even a one warning system or maybe a 2 warnings throughout a game, maybe they get one warning for the first 4 innings, and if they go all the way to 8 innings, then maybe they'll get another one. But I love that idea. I mean, because you would hate to see a big time reliever who's used to letting moments breathe, like Edwin Diaz coming in and the whole crowd is on their feet and he lets moments breathe for that reason. So you would hate to see a big time moment get ruined by that.
I think I will miss that part, and I kind of looked at it from a broadcaster's point of view also, because I was listening to Todd Callis, I was listening to Jeff Blum on the Astros TV and all that stuff, right?
Goated, by the way.
And yeah, they are goated. Yes, indeed. And, there's not a lot of time for storytelling anymore. In between pitches, it's like, and to me, that's part of baseball is the announcers getting chances to tell those stories, getting chances to set up the moment, the scene. Now it's just so fast paced that you rarely have time to set up any kind of background storytelling for the game. So from a broadcaster's point of view, I noticed that Callis and Blum in particular were not doing that as much. And maybe they'll get used to it and they'll start figuring out ways to do that. But just a little early observation I had when it came to the broadcast side of things.
Well, when the Astros start blowing out people as the season goes on, like they usually do,
so,
then we'll see. We'll have more time for.
So you know how they typically will bring in somebody to interview for an inning, and like they brought in Dana Brown, the GM, and they just talked to him for an inning, etc. It took 2 innings this time because the inning went by so fast they couldn't get the interview done.
And there was also the first game opening night. He had the ESPN talk to Alex Bregman while he was fielding, but it was so fast paced, and he was like, he didn't really have time to say what.
I know.
And you know what? The Rangers interviewed Rob Manfred, and it was the exact opposite flip side of this whole situation where I believe DeGrom had pitch comm issues.
Yeah.
And so they had a whole, what even used to be like 2 innings worth in 1 inning with Rob Manfred. They were like, wow, I didn't expect to get through this many questions. Rob wasn't ready to talk that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like there's 2 sides to this coin, and there's good and bad with it, but I'm enjoying it so far.
So am I. I'm enjoying more balls in play. I'm enjoying more stolen bases. So here's some numbers for us throughout the first 3 days of the season. 35 total games played compared to last year's first 3 days of the season, which was a 34-game sample size. The average time of game in 2022 at this point last year was 3 hours and 8 minutes. The average time of game at this point this year in 2023 is 2 hours and 41 minutes.
That's pretty good.
So that is about a 26, 27-minute decrease. Stolen base attempts are up. Last year at this time, there was only 26 stolen base attempts. This year, there's 56.
I love that.
I love it, too. I love stolen bases are back, Dotson. They are back. And the bases are a tad bit bigger. And the bases don't look too awkward either. I can't even really tell that they're that much bigger. So that has increased. I just want this. This is my thing with baseball. I want more balls batted into play. I want more stolen base attempts.
Fair.
I want more action on the field, and I just want less dead time. And I think Rob Manfred and company have done a good job so far with these rules, and it's made me enjoy baseball just a tad bit more than I've already have been enjoying it.
One thing that has helped me is the announcers are trying to fill time between pitches.
Yeah.
And you can tell. And it gets bad because they start things that are really not, you're not even interested in at all in order to fill the time. I think that is one real good thing.
Exactly. Like I just mentioned, they have to be just right on the action, right on the action. So 361-882-5397. Let us know your thoughts on the new rules of Major League Baseball. When we come back, I have an emotional coach from Texas who finally got his job, and we will have just a little bit more MLB quick hits as we kind of recap opening weekend here in Major League Baseball. Get into the text line, 361-882-5397. We got Dotson in the house. Ask Dotson anything throughout the entire show. You're listening to the Sunday Sports Rush. We'll be right back. Episode 112, Sunday Sports Rush. James Espinosa, Marcos Mataquin, Adin Ducker, and the Hall of Fame referee Dotson Lewis in the house. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll have some NFL headlines because Lamar Jackson has requested a trade, and all of Ravens fans are sad about it, including Adin Ducker back there. Biggest NFL headlines of the week coming up here in about 15 minutes' time. 361-882-5397. Get your takes into the text line. We're with you till 11 a.m. Also, coming up in the second hour at 10:30, we'll have Man Card Court with Dotson Lewis. Excited about that one. Good to have Dotson back in the house. Now, some Major League Baseball headlines that happened over the weekend. You know, Jacob deGrom made his debut for the Texas Rangers. He said he wasn't thrilled with his debut, his first start. He lasted just 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, all for extra bases, including 5 to the opposite field. Your thoughts? I mean, the Rangers did win that game 11-7 against the Phillies, and Marcos is our resident Rangers fan. Early impressions of Jacob deGrom and his debut with the Rangers.
I'm going to defend my guy here.
Oh, go ahead. I'm not even attacking him. I'm not trying to attack him.
First of all, I'm going to say definitely not his best outing. He didn't make the pitches he needed to whenever he needed to make them, and he would admit that. But the Phillies just did an amazing job of hitting him. He mentioned it in the post conference, but they hit a lot of balls that were out of the zone, that were well placed pitches. You know, that were some were even change the eye level type pitches. You know, where he's not necessarily trying to do anything with the pitch, but then they poked the ball out to right field. Man, that right field line got a lot of action because there was a lot of dribblers. They got 2 triples that game. There was a lot of little dribblers. They got a couple doubles down there. The only really hard contact was the home run to Alec Boehm. And that was really the hardest contact he gave all day. And that was a little line drive barely over the fence, you know? So it's not like he got absolutely rocked. That's just a team stacked with a lot of really good hitters who did a really good job making some adjustments because they knew that they were not going to just absolutely dominate deGrom. They weren't going to just win against him one-on-one like that. They just had to fight him off and, you know, get what they could get. And that's a really good lineup, and they did a really good job in that aspect.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, Marcos. Look, first start, man.
And he
got
got 7 Ks.
Yeah, he still performed pretty well, but that's just showing, you know, the kind of standards that Jacob deGrom has for himself. Just his team to get the win. Did get rocked a little bit, but I can understand why he's not, quote, unquote, thrilled about his performance.
Yeah. And not to mean to rain on your... God. Whoa, okay. Not to mean to rain on your parade, Marcos, but I'm just speaking facts here. At the end of April last season, you had the Angels and Mariners. I think they were at one point leading the Astros in the division. People thought, oh, man. And even the Rangers, they were kind of near the Astros as well. Oh, wow, they're finally going to overtake the Astros in the division. Some other team's going to finally do it. And the season went on. The Astros did what they do. So while it looks like the Rangers are still doing good, it's still a long season.
Yeah, of course. I don't think no one in here is, even Marcos included, if I'm allowed to speak for you, even though you have a microphone. I don't think Marcos and anybody here is trying to say that the Rangers are going to win the division. I think we're just, myself, I think the Rangers are going to be pretty decent this year.
I'd say my best case scenario would be that they're keeping it close.
Yeah.
And I think the absolute worst case scenario for y'all is that we're, right there at the end.
I said last week that the Rangers would be a wild card team, like competing for a wild card spot. And I think that would be a pretty good step up for this organization.
And it's a necessary step up. I mean, if you look at where we were whenever we signed Seager and Semien a couple years back, this is exactly where we wanted to be. This is exactly where we were projecting to be. That's why we signed them to such long deals, because we were like, in a couple years, we want to start competing. And then hopefully if they get a wild card this year, maybe they go on to the first round of the playoffs, or maybe they get bounced out. Next year, we want to be competing for maybe a league title, So it's all progression. People forget that sports are not necessarily supposed to happen now. Not every team's window of opportunity is right now. So, it is what it is, and I'm just excited for good baseball finally.
And that's why it's a 162-game season.
Yes.
And the Rangers are 2 games in, and they're looking really good, and their offense has scored 27 runs in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, they are hitting the piss out of the baseball. Let's just be honest, all right? Mm-hmm. So we'll have a little bit more Rangers talk a little bit later on the show. Astros talk to come as well. Rodney Terry is the new head coach of the Texas men's basketball team. He was the interim head coach, but finally this past week, the interim label was removed, and he was given a 5-year contract, according to sources. So Rodney Terry, 55 years old, he replaced Chris Beard after his domestic incident happened in December, and he led the Longhorns to the Elite Eight, the first Elite Eight in 20 years. The Longhorns did blow a lead to the Miami Hurricanes, which they were up by 13 at one point. They were up by 8 at one point.
They should have won that game, man.
Longhorns went cold, and the Hurricanes ended up going to the Final Four. So, yeah, but Rodney Terry, though, he went 22-8 after he took over as the interim head coach. He went 12-6 in conference play, and they beat Kansas in the Big 12 title tournament championship game. So, pretty good season for Rodney Terry, but he had some audio. An emotional piece of audio. This was post-game after they lost to Miami last week, where Coach Terry's talking about, coaching this team and coaching these seniors and just how emotional it was for him. Here is Coach Rodney Terry.
I mean, again, I love these guys, and not only will I just love these guys for the time I got a chance to coach them, I'm gonna love them for the rest of their lives. I'll be at their weddings. I'll be when they, talking to those guys when they have their firstborn, and it was all about this team, man. And I enjoyed every single day of this journey with this group, and I'm gonna really miss. I really miss working with this group. So it was never about me. It was always about these guys. And I love these guys.
There he is, Coach Rodney Terry, just absolutely emotional, showing the passion. Could barely even speak, man. And that audio came out the day before he got the contract. So he didn't even know if he was going to be the coach. He didn't know if that was his last time coaching these guys. Absolute chills listening to that.
That sounded like me at the end of the Better Call Saul finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aiden actually cried at my house for that. Cried on the couch.
I sound almost the same.
I had to console Aiden.
But
yes.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like a man a man being honest with his emotion is the most manly thing you could do.
Okay, and there's nothing wrong with being an emotional person in in one of those moments like that. But I did like how Coach Terry just kind of invited himself to everybody's weddings. He was like, I'm gonna be there for all their weddings. He was like, I'm gonna be there when their firstborns are born. Like, all right, cool. Like, you just automatically invited yourself. Awesome. Good job, Coach.
Check that again. Did he say firstborn or first boy?
I think he said firstborns.
I thought he said first boy.
Well,
of course, I've dealt with coaches on a different level.
Yeah, so there we go.
Quite
Coach Rodney Terry, new head coach of the Longhorns, 5-year contract, and we'll see what happens. This year should have been Texas's year. They had it right there. They would have had a Final Four game in Houston. That crowd would have been packed. It would have been pro-Texas 90%. The way the field shaped up, it could have been Texas's year. But we will talk Final Four later on in the show, so stick around for that. Coming up next, we dive into the NFL because Lamar Jackson wants out of Baltimore. We have the latest NFL headline. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush. It's episode 112. All the guys are in the house this morning. James Espinosa, Marcos Matakin, Aiden Ducker, and the Hall of Fame referee, Dotson Lewis. We're with you. Hit us up on the text line for your sports takes, 361-882-5397. Ask Dotson anything. If you have questions for Dotson, make sure you get them in as well, 361-882-5397. Just a quick programming note for those of you out there. We will be off next week for Easter Sunday. We will, though, run a best of show. So if you still want, a little bit of Sports Rush action on your Sunday morning, you can tune us in. We'll have a best of show for you guys, some of our best segments from the year, etc. So make sure you get in for that. 361-882-5397. Get in on the text line. Dotson Lewis is with us. Dotson. So we're talking NFL, Dotson. Right? And I know you have some history with the NFL, don't you?
Well, I'm on the instant replay committee.
Okay.
Among other things. And I'm a consultant for rule changes, and I know some rule changes we're talking about for next year, speeding up the game. One thing that I'm completely against, we'll talk about it sometime, if people would like to hear about it.
Yeah, so.
We're talking about just for grins after any completed pass, the clock starts immediately.
So keep the clock moving.
Why is everybody wanting to speed it up?
Well, Dotson, you got to realize that the attention span of my generation and younger generations, we have the attention span of birds, Dotson. Like, literally, I could be looking at one thing and I'm over here and then I'm over there. And I'm like, I don't know. I think we have so much access to entertainment in our devices right here. We got a freaking mega computer in our phones that we're just always we're a distracted society right now.
You know what I do with my undergraduate classes that I teach now in kinesiology? I have them put these things. I'm looking at my, whatever this thing is. This is an electronic arrest device. I put them in a basket as they come in
Yeah.
and turn them off.
I try to do that with my high school kids, but then they just end up calling me MFer and shut the F up, you old F.
I can do the things they don't like that.
Really?
I mean, I'm just saying, some of my kids will say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Try taking the phone away from a high school kid and see what happens.
Yeah, no, you get a lot of, I know my rights.
I know my rights, bro. That's my property. Swear. You can't do that to me.
Man.
You high school teachers, you need to
Yeah.
have the kids come into us.
Believe me, I am beaten down by the cell phone battle every day.
Help them learn to at least read or write, will you please?
Anyways, I don't know how we veered off into that. Go ahead, Marcos.
On the NFL, speeding it up, I don't think the NFL has a speed of the game problem. The only thing that I could see is between plays. Sometimes there's just so much. It feels like there's so much downtime between plays.
Well, we do the same thing every time in starting the clock, so that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I agree sometimes they don't need that much time, particularly the way they're getting their plays in now. They really need that much time between plays. We discussed it. Maybe cutting it 5 seconds.
Interesting. So Dotson Lewis giving us some firsthand knowledge right here. One thing go ahead, Adin.
Well, I just want to make a point on, about the time in between plays, but I feel like that's a disadvantage to teams that run the ball and run the clock out, you know what I'm saying, to like take less time in between plays. I don't know. I don't think I agree with that.
I just think there's too many commercials. But they got to make their money somehow.
Hey, that's what pays the bill.
Exactly. So they got to make their money somehow. So I see what happens.
They're not changing that.
All righty. So big headline that happened this week in the NFL. Lamar Jackson has requested a trade from the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, who represents himself, tweeted that he requested the trade on March the 2nd as the team, quote, has not been interested in meeting my value, end quote, in contract talks. So Jackson was placed on the non-exclusive franchise tag on March 7th, 5 days after Jackson said he made his trade request, which allows him to negotiate with other teams. If Jackson signs an offer sheet, Baltimore would have 5 days to either match it or receive 2 first-round picks as compensation. So Lamar Jackson has requested a trade, and things are just getting worse and worse for the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what it is. It seems like the Ravens ownership might be a little bit cheap. There must be something going on behind the scenes. Maybe they just don't see Lamar Jackson as being a long-term, a kind of player who could stay healthy his whole career, so they're hesitant on giving him that big deal.
Yeah, man, it's a very complicated situation. I can understand why other teams aren't going to want to sign because of that tender. You have to give the Ravens 2 first-round picks and whatnot, on top of the big contract that he wants. So there's just like a standoff. It's like a Western,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just from the Ravens. I mean, it's just like, why aren't you paying this dude? And I don't want to be this guy, but I think it's a mix of his play style and old school football. Like, you want the 6'5" pocket quarterback. I think it's a little bit of that, and I think that they're scared to pay him long term, and I don't think they want to pay him long term. But the fact of the matter is, he's what age did he win the MVP? He was like 23, 24?
22, 23, around there.
That's insane.
That's insane. If you're looking, if they had an Andrew Luck type quarterback and he won the MVP at 22 years old, do you think that they would have paid him?
And here's where I'm.
It's a good question.
And here's
probably so.
And here's a point that Lamar has: the Ravens are like mid at best when he's not playing. When he plays, they win games. It's as simple as that. Look at his career record. I know it's a team game, but the team drops off significantly without him at quarterback.
And it would help if the Ravens actually invested around him also, and maybe got him somebody to throw the ball to besides besides Mark Andrews.
Man, I can't wait to see wide receiver 1 Nelson Aguilar in action.
Devin Duvernay, their kickoff returners, their wide receiver 2.
I mean, Rashad Bateman, he's a stud when he plays, but he's been hurt so much.
What pick do they have this year?
They're somewhere in the middle.
Let me look that up while we're here.
Well, there are some pretty good receivers late first round.
Number 22, round 1.
So there people are saying that the Ravens might draft Jackson Smith-Njigba.
I don't think he's gonna fall that far.
Well, he might because of he has an injury history too. But I've seen that dude play. He's and when he's healthy, and he's a complete stud.
And go ahead.
I've been seeing him a lot mocked up around the Texans from people nationally, locally. I don't see him falling past like 15. Even.
I've also seen Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
Going to the Eagles. The Eagles kind of have one of those early
I think
round
it's top
picks.
10.
Yeah, something like that. So
No, I don't think the Eagles need receivers.
we'll see what happens with that. The Lamar situation is still interesting. If you're a betting man, is Lamar on the Ravens roster when training camp opens?
Probably.
You think so? You don't think a trade happens? You think this is all posturing and the Ravens will break?
Eventually.
Okay, there we go. We heard it from our resident Ravens fan, Aiden Ducker, 361-882-5397. If you have any takes on that, get in on the text line. Let us know your thoughts. Marcos, finish it off.
One last thing. He needs an agent. We can't be having his mom lead these negotiations.
Oh, wait,
man.
time out. Explain further.
He doesn't have an agent.
I know he doesn't have an agent, but what do you mean about his mom?
His mom is doing the negotiations for him.
Are you serious right now?
Yes.
That's a part of the story I never knew. I thought Lamar was actually negotiating these contracts.
I think it's him and his mom, but yeah. Agents are important for a reason in the
This
NFL.
is like an Eli Apple situation where his mom would always stick up for him and talk smack on Twitter. And
his dad.
They even gave her wasn't she even working for ESPN at one point? Eli Apple's mom? Or,
No, that was never true.
Well, I thought she was. Or they brought her on some shows at least.
They
probably,
maybe brought her on, but not working for ESPN.
Okay.
It's probably an internet report.
Yeah, exactly. All right, some more NFL headlines. John Lynch, the former, or the Hall of Fame safety, I should say, now the 49ers general manager, he says that Brock Purdy has, quote, earned the right to start for us. And as of right now, Brock Purdy, once he's back from his injury, he will be the 49ers starting quarterback. Trey Lance, of course, was their top draft pick a couple seasons back, a top 5 pick, top 4 pick. So it looks like Brock Purdy has earned that job. Interesting. I wonder what the 49ers are going to do now with Trey Lance. The 49ers did bring in Sam Darnold as well to compete for that backup spot.
I still don't understand why they drafted Trey Lance, a guy who's hardly played any quarterback at all.
I guess. Yeah, he wasn't. I mean, that was the question coming out of North Dakota State. Am I correct? That he has, played 20 games or something like that? And
less than that.
Yeah. So
I think he played 20 games total as quarterback combined with high school and college.
That's what I meant. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but Brock Purdy will be the starting quarterback. Another headline, Robert Saleh of the Jets had an interesting comment this week. He said that he is, quote, sure that Rodgers will be the quarterback of the Jets and that the Jets are also eyeing a potential move for Odell Beckham Jr. So we still got Rodgers and the Jets and the Packers playing ring around the rosy with each other, holding hands, trying to get a deal done. Nothing's gotten done. Reports are that trade compensation is one of the sticking points on why this deal is being held up.
Just love seeing the aggressiveness of the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets whenever who isn't in there. Love it.
The AFC East is getting stacked up.
Man, just love it how it just all happens when you conveniently.
I mean, I don't really believe anything that I'm hearing from anybody right now. I mean, didn't we heard Harbaugh's talking about I'm 200% sure Lamar Jackson's going to be the quarterback next year.
Yes.
So I don't know. There's been a lot of everything, and even in the last headline that you read, talking about Brock Purdy being the quarterback, there was just an announcement last year we're gonna have our quarterbacks compete for the job and everything. I heard that coming out from the 49ers camp.
You see, Shanahan's more on the line of the quarterback competition. So, but as far as the Jets is concerned, though, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is eventually gonna be the quarterback there. It's going to take time. They're going to eventually figure this out because he's not going to be quarterback of the Packers.
Yeah. The Jordan Love era seems to be, about to begin for Green Bay. One more headline to get to. The Commanders are reportedly up for sale, and there was actually a $6 billion bid submitted for the Commanders. Josh Harris and Mitchell Rell's group, which includes Magic Johnson. Yes, that Magic Johnson. They officially submitted a bid for the Commanders that meets Daniel Snyder's $6 billion asking price. A source, a.k.a. agent, sent an email to ESPN's Adam Schefter, who then copy and pasted and tweeted it out. to everybody. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean you know how bad and negative the Washington Commanders have been. So it's gonna take a new owner to take things more into a positive direction. So,
There's also interest from Tillman Fertitta, the NBA's Houston Rockets owner. He's also interested in buying the Commanders. So the Commanders they're getting interest from people. But Daniel Snyder's just a mess.
It's such
Tillman Fertitta's kind of shady a little bit too.
He is, right? He kind of does give off like used car salesman vibes. No offense.
He's very shady. I know the Fertittas. They used to own
no offense out there.
They used to own the UFC and all that, but I mean, he gives me shady vibes too. I rather the Magic Johnson group. I feel more confident in.
You ought to just stay away from that dumpster fire, to be honest.
Well, Daniel Snyder's a dumpster fire.
Is it him or is it
him?
Because the organization is also pretty
it
bad.
It is Snyder.
Well, there was
100%.
all those reports about a lot of people underneath him, like they had a lot of like sexual misconduct and stuff happening, and that wasn't Snyder doing that. That was a lot of people throughout the organization.
But those are Snyder's people. I'm pretty sure they'll,
If the new ownership group will have to clear house.
Yeah.
Like everybody will have to be fired and bring in their own people, because this franchise in Washington, as maligned as it's been for the past 26, 27, 28 years, they were once a proud franchise in the 80s and all that good stuff, the 70s, the early 90s, where they won their last Super Bowl.
I mean, they won 3 Super Bowls in a 10-year span.
Like, they were once a super proud franchise, which was regarded as one of the, like, this is the standard of a franchise. And now they're down here. I mean, they're a laughing stock. So I hope somebody does buy this team, Dotson Lewis.
It was Dallas and the Redskins, you remember?
Yep.
The top
Dotson,
team.
we don't say that name anymore.
I do.
Oh, Dotson Lewis! 361-882-5397. Get in on the text line if you have any thoughts on Dotson Lewis's Redskins talk.
I feel like they were kind of like a part of the NFL's version of hockey's like original 6 teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were. Everybody knew them, and it got the information out, and there was not all this BS going on.
Oh, Dotson Lewis with the takes, baby. I love you.
You've got to understand what is hurting the game.
Yeah. Dotson, I like it.
I feel like it.
All right. And I think we're going to end the segment right there. Dotson Lewis's fire takes. 361-882-5397. When we come back, we're going to look at the state of Texas, and we're going to talk some Astros, and we're going to talk a little bit of Rangers, because opening weekend is still here. This is the final day of opening weekend before we get the full season up and going, baby. We're talking Astros. We're talking Rangers after the break. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush, episode number 112. We're rocking and rolling this morning. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and the Hall of Fame referee Dotson Lewis in the house. Make sure to hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. Ask Dotson anything. Get your takes in here. All that good stuff. 361-882-5397. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll take a look at the Final Four, the action that happened last night. Buzzer beater, one blowout, and I kind of want to talk some women's Final Four, because the women's Final Four, a quick little take, the women's Final Four has more star power than the men's Final Four this year. All around star power. I'm talking players, coaches, Kim Mulkey, Caitlin Clark.
Ugh, she's a stud.
Don Staley, head coach.
That's what I'm saying. It was pretty loaded.
I think that their star players are Leah Boston.
Yeah, it was pretty loaded. So we'll talk a little bit of that coming up in about 10 minutes time. Right now, though, quick Astros and Rangers report, because opening weekend, of course, is here. Astros dropped game 1 on Friday, 3-2. Dylan Cease was freaking on it, bro.
He was filthy.
He is absolute filth. He dominated.
Yeah, the Astros bat ceased to exist while he was pitching.
So they lose 3-2 on Thursday, opening day.
Sorry, Marcos.
Friday, the Astros get the 6-3 win over Lance Lynn, Team USA's own Lance Lynn. And Yordan Alvarez had himself quite the game. He cleared the bases with this 3 RBI double, which led to the Astros winning 6-3 on Friday.
Bases full of Astros in a one-run game. Jordan sends one into left field. Pretty well hit. Back goes Benintendi all the way back. And it's off the wall. One-run score. Two-run score. Here comes Alex Bregman. He is safe.
TK, it's that man again.
Todd Callis, Jeff Blum right there.
It's always nice to hear their voices
It
broadcasting
was.
the goated play.
So that happened, and then yesterday the Astros also got the victory over the White Sox 6-4. And Kyle Tucker had a single for an RBI. Alvarez and Abreu had back-to-back singles for RBIs. And yeah, the Astros are 2-1, and today on the mound in their Sunday game, which will take place at 12:30, as I am feverishly going through their schedule. I know that, here we go, I'm vamping. It is Luis Garcia versus Mike Clevenger. That is the pitching matchup today.
Okay.
Clevenger.
A little one-sided right there.
So,
Clevenger's pretty washed.
well, he's, okay, yeah.
I mean, his marriage is washed, I think. So, I mean, there's that.
Okay. Personal shots
I'm
out there.
sorry. I mean, he's a known Astros hater, and
Yeah.
he got what came at him, and I'm glad that karma bit him in the ass.
So, all right. Well, there we go. Hot
Okay.
takes are made in this morning. So it's going to be Luis Garcia. It's going to be Mike Clevenger at 12:30 with Astros and White Sox. Now, they're 2-1. I'm happy with what I've seen so far. It's been fun, but as we said, it's still super early. So let's not throw all our eggs in one basket. Let's kind of chill out a little bit. But hopefully the Astros can get the win today and get the season opening series win against the White Sox, because they got the Tigers coming into town next week, and then they hit the road against the Twins next weekend.
The Tigers they're going to be the worst team in the league, man. They're not good.
You think so?
Yes.
They got some pretty good players, though, like that Spencer Torkelson. They got some good guys.
They're going to be bad.
They got that center fielder who always kills the Astros.
Miguel Cabrera last year was their best hitter.
So, there we go.
He still got a bat. He just can't move.
We got the Rangers on tonight, as Marcos was mentioning to us. The Rangers are going to be on Sunday Night Baseball. They had a 16-3 win yesterday over the Phillies. The Rangers are 2-0, 27 runs scored in their first two games. What the hell's going on with these Rangers bats?
Hey, well, we have a good lineup. It's not like we have some bums. We had Marcus Semien, Corey Seagull, and Nathaniel Lowe, who won the Silver Slugger last year.
He
at
went
first
3
base.
for 6 yesterday with 2
Yep.
RBI.
I think he had a couple doubles, too.
Yeah, 2 runs scored. You got Adolis Garcia, who's a freaking just awesome player to watch. Adolis is he's one of my dudes who I like watching.
Oh, he's an Astros
Oh,
killer,
he's
too.
so electric.
Yeah, he's an Astros killer also.
And then Josh Jung, who's absolutely great young bat. If he has a good season, I think he has Rookie of the Year
Fun
potential.
fact about Josh Jung, Doug and I have called one of his games during Texas high school baseball. We did a playoff game between Carroll and San Antonio MacArthur, and Josh Jung was on that MacArthur team.
What did he hit, like 10 bombs?
Carroll actually beat them.
Yeah.
Like
Marcos. Yeah.
It was him.
Yeah.
It was him and his brother Jace, I think.
Yeah, and I think he's in another team's minor league organization too.
Yeah, so
that whole family is absolutely loaded with talent.
But yeah, man, I mean,
And then Robbie Grossman too. He's had an amazing season. The first game he went 1 for 3 with the 3-run home run. This last game, he went 2 for 3, 2 RBIs. Like, he's had a great comeback year. I mean, he had 209 last year. A lot of people are like, "What is this horrible signing?" But we needed outfield depth, and he's provided that. This lineup is really good, top to bottom.
Robbie Grossman, former Astro.
Yes.
As well. I think he started out. He was a hook. Robbie Grossman was a Corpus Christi hook. So that's pretty cool right there. So yeah, the Rangers have been balling, man. And right now things are looking good for them. They're 2-0, and they got Sunday Night Baseball against the Phillies. The Astros are 2-1. They got the White Sox today
And
at 12:30.
Martin Perez, the All-Star, on the mound.
Nice. Look at y'all guys. Look at the Rangers.
Cute little Rangers.
Look at the Rangers. I'm going to be keeping up with the Rangers. Look,
Hey,
I know
we're
I like
2-0,
to,
baby.
I like to dog on the Rangers, and I said this, and I made a post about it. I said this after opening day because I was a little bit jealous that the Rangers won and the Astros lost on opening day. I said this: Rangers fans celebrate opening day, Astros fans celebrate in October. We are not the same. I made that statement. I stand by that statement, but that doesn't mean I hate the Rangers.
All I'm saying is the Phillies would be 3-0 against the White Sox.
Ooh. Well, all right.
Phillies?
Are the Phillies that good?
National League champions.
I mean, yeah, they're the National League champs, but
And they got better.
I feel like their run last year was.
They got better this year. I'm just saying they got better.
Yeah, I guess so. No, they did. They got Trey Turner.
And they still have Wheeler, Nola coming back, 2 aces in their rotation.
Bryce is still hurt, but he'll be coming back.
Yep.
Around the All-Star break or so.
Marcos,
They
you're drinking
arguably
your
have the
Rangers-
best lineup in the league.
You're drinking your Rangers Kool-Aid a little too early.
No,
Still
I'm just saying they
April.
arguably have the best lineup in the league,
Yeah,
and I
it's
think
still
that's
April,
a pretty
though.
good debate.
Yeah,
to be had.
We'll see. We'll be keeping you up to speed with Astros and Rangers talk. We're going to start to show just a little bit more love to the Rangers because they are Texas after all. So that's going to wrap up hour number 1 of the Sunday Sports Rush. When we come back, we're going to talk some Final Four. We're broadcasting live from the Americana Arms Studios. Big city selection, small town prices. This is KEYS Corpus Christi. Hour 2 is coming up. Stick around. Good morning, Corpus Christi Coastal Bend listeners worldwide. Welcome into hour number 2 of the Sunday Sports Rush on News Talk KEYS, 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. James Espinosa alongside with you. I have Marcos Mataquin in the house.
What's up, James?
We got Aiden Ducker back there.
Cougars, I love Cougars.
He's pushing the buttons. He's making sure we stay on air, and he's adding, at some points, I guess, some insightful sports talk. But there we go.
Probably, maybe, kind of.
Maybe.
I'm going to turn that April Fool's joke yesterday to an actual not joke.
No, don't do that. You had me scared in the group chat. Dotson Lewis is in the house. What's up, Dotson? Hall of Fame referee.
It's not April 1st, is it?
Yesterday it was.
Yesterday was.
Okay, well, I'm trying to learn. You guys are trying to keep me. You want me to have a heart attack?
No,
No.
Dotson, please.
Okay, well, try to be nice.
And
And watch your language.
Oh, Dotson, are you upset at us?
No,
Okay.
I'm with Aiden.
In between the break, we were looking over some man card evidence because man card court will be coming up at 10:30 a.m. So make sure you set the dial to Keys at 10:30.
A literal loaded man card case.
And we were showing
Literally.
Dotson some evidence, and
Well, I was studying kinesiology.
let's just say that Megan the Stallion came up in the evidence, and Dotson got a good look at Megan the Stallion.
You don't want somebody.
Does her
my age?
name fit?
It does.
All right. So there we
She's
go.
Lots of woman.
She has a lot of lower body power.
Well, she works out.
You're
Yeah.
gonna have to take one of my kinesiology.
She has good
classes
explosiveness in her lower body, I would say.
She's explosive on the mic and at the weights.
Exactly.
We're getting on the age, you guys.
So there we go. We're with you this morning. We're having a good time. And if you want to get in on the text line, hit us up, 361-882-5397. I got George D in here. Shout out to George for getting in.
Shout out, George.
George says, good morning, gents. Great show as always. Dotson, you are the man. Go Astros. Have a great, blessed Sunday all. Well, thank you, George, for that. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for getting in. And I hope you have a great Sunday as well, George. So there we go. Jerry's in here. Jerry says, ask Dotson if it was his fault that a rocket went the wrong way and landed in Mexico.
What is he back from Germany? Is that the
Jerry
just
from
landed?
Crossroads, right here on the
He
text
just
line.
landed in San Antonio, back from Germany.
I guess so. He
And
wants to
I
know.
did not set the gyro for that V2 rocket. That is misinformation.
All right, Jerry, it's misinformation. Quit putting those words in Dotson Lewis's mouth. 361-882-5397. Ask Dotson anything this morning. Get in on the text line. Right now, though, let's go ahead and let's talk some Final Four because last night we had 2 games in Houston. We had FAU taking on San Diego State, and then in the nightcap, you had Miami taking on UConn. And in the first game, we had a pretty damn good game, guys. That Florida Atlantic and San Diego State game was competitive from the beginning. Florida Atlantic was up the majority of this game, and they were up by double digits, and I thought that they were going to run away with it. At one point, I thought San Diego State was in the danger zone of getting blown out.
I mean, just like Miami against UT, it was the same, nearly the same situation. And credit to San Diego State, they came back, made it a game.
They
And
did.
Yeah, it was
the
one of
rest
the
is
best comebacks I ever saw.
The rest is
14
history.
points.
Do we have that buzzer beater audio? That was a great
We do
call.
have that buzzer beater audio. So I got 2 of them, right? I got the Jim Nantz clip, which everybody heard on CBS. And then I got the San Diego State University radio clip because we all love a good local radio play-by-play call. So San Diego State beats Florida Atlantic last night 72-71 on a Lamont Butler game-winning buzzer-beater pull-up jumper for 2, which put SDSU into the championship game. Adin, go ahead and play the Jim Nantz audio first. Here's Jim Nantz on CBS Sports.
Taken on, and it's blocked. Pulled down by Minson. They have the one timeout. Are they going to take it or not? They don't have the scorers on the floor. It's Butler with 2 seconds. He's got to put it up. And he wins it. He wins it with the jumper. A San Diego State miracle.
And the band goes crazy.
Shout out that drummer.
Yeah, that jumper was absolutely snapping. He was like, this is my moment, baby. Let's get it.
I love that Rafferty, that yell he does. He's like, "Woo!"
That was it. That was the raftery. He kind of lost himself.
I think, did he say onions afterwards? I know we cut the clip off, but
He did. He was like, onions.
Is he just like completely lost in the booth without Tony Romo?
Who, Nance?
Yeah, poor Nance.
I don't know. What do you
I
mean?
don't know.
I like Nance more without Romo.
yes.
No, I do too. I'm just playing around.
I love Nance. And so that was a good call from Nance. What would we grade Nance's call? Scale of 1 through 10.
Probably a 9,
That was a 9?
an 8 or 9.
I'll say 8.
8, yeah,
I
8.
think 8.
I think he's had better calls in moments like that. But,
Yeah,
but
that was
it's
a good
still,
one.
It's still 8. It's still 8 or 9.
What do you think, Dotson?
Well, he's better at basketball than he is football.
Fair.
I think that's fair.
I would agree with that.
I would agree.
If you think about the way he handles himself, and of course, Romo's sort of a pain in the neck at times, over talking.
pain in the ass.
But-
yeah.
Neck.
but-
Okay, or lower extremity.
Yeah, but when when we look at Nance's career once he fully retires, we're gonna know him more as the college basketball March Madness.
And for those of you who don't know out there, this is Jim Nance's final four.
Yeah,
this is it
now
for
he's still,
him.
he's still gonna be doing football, right?
Yeah, he's still going to do football, but he said that the reason why he's dropping the Final Four is because between football, between all the golf that he does, that it's becoming a little bit too much for him to do.
I think Iron Eagle or is it?
Iron Eagle is going to be the guy who takes over.
Okay, yeah, because
Iron Eagle will be the new CBS voice of the Final Four.
On the air, which is tougher, play-by-play basketball or football?
Basketball.
Yeah.
By far.
I think basketball's
Basketball.
tougher because football has that dead time.
And
like
you
you can
can- yeah.
gather your thoughts in that. Basketball's just back, forth, back, forth. So San Diego State wins. But I want to play now the San Diego State Radio Network's feed because this is Ted Leitner, and this is from San Diego State Aztec Radio, the Aztecs, the Aztec Radio Nation. This is from them. And I want you to listen to the subtle smack talk that this play-by-play guy has as soon as the game is over and he's making his final call. Here we go, San Diego State Radio's final call of the buzzer beater.
On the drive against AG, puts it up short, rebound, AG. AG got the rebound. Here are the Aztecs down 1, 4, 3. Lamont Butler, pull-up jump shot. Good. They're storming the court. Who's going to the championship game? Not FAU. No. The San Diego State Aztecs are going to the NCAA championship game on Monday. How about them Aztecs? How about them boys?
Who's going to the championship game? Not FAU, the San Diego Aztecs.
Want me to be 100% honest?
Dude had such yuck voice.
Do you want me to be honest?
Go.
I'm not a big fan of the call.
I'm not either.
I think the moment carried the call. But I do think he has a great voice, and I'm sure he's a great player. But I'm sure he's a great.
Like,
He's really good at what he does. He's really good at what he
Initially,
does.
like the whole good, like okay, that was all right, but I feel like you need to be more like you were like boasting afterwards, like
Not FAU.
as if FU almost won this game, and you're like boasting as if you like defeated them like dominantly.
Yeah.
You know, you're not UConn.
So we will get to UConn here in a moment. So that game-winning buzzer beater, Lamont Butler, is the first in Final Four history in which the team was trailing before the shot.
I just feel like you should be more. I mean, I can't really judge and all that. You know, like you or Doug, y'all are the actual broadcast. Y'all would be a better judge than I am. But I feel like you have to feel like you have to have more glee in that moment. Some more like, oh my goodness. Like,
yeah, and
more,
I thought he had it. I thought he had it for a little bit, but the shots at FAU were just like, all right.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean,
He could have just let it breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe. You could have let it breathe right there, too. Yeah. Just let the natural crowd noise just kind of take it, and then give it like a few seconds, and then, we're going to the finals.
San Diego State University's going on to their first blah, blah, blah. Like he could have done something else.
So that Butler game-winning buzzer beater is now the 5th all-time in Final Four history. He joins Jalen Suggs, Gonzaga, 2021, Chris Jenkins, Villanova, 2026, Lorenzo Charles, NC State, 1983, which was the Valvano game.
Yeah.
And then Jerome Whitehead's Marquette, 1977. So it's only happened 5 times in Final Four history. So last night that shot was literal history, and it was great. It was a great moment. It made me stand up off my seat, and that's why we're sports fans, to watch moments like what happened with San Diego State.
That was the first one where if he misses it, they lose.
Yeah.
Like the other ones, the game where
They were
had
tied.
they missed, it would have been going to overtime.
Exactly. The first one where a team was trailing that went in. So there we go. And then in the nightcap, UConn just whipped their ass, dude. There's no other way to say it. I kept my eyes on this game, but UConn was dominant. They were up 37-24 at halftime, and then they ended up winning by 13 points, 72-59 over Miami. UConn has outscored its opponents by 103 points in this tournament. The 7th team all-time with a point differential of at least 100 entering the national title game. Of the previous 6, 5 would go on to win it all. The only exception, Duke in 1999, which lost to UConn, which was their first national championship.
Yeah.
So UConn is having one of the more dominating runs in tournament history, and now it's going to be UConn. It's going to be San Diego State. They will clash tomorrow night for the national championship. I guess since we're here, might as well make a prediction. Adin, who do you got?
I'm rooting for San Diego State, even though I didn't like what the announcer did, but I still, because UConn's been a basketball superpower this century. They're like a blue blood now. But I think UConn's going to win by I say 8 or 9 or something. It's going to be a closer game. This is going to be the toughest test yet, but I just feel like this UConn team kind of reminds me of the Villanova teams under Jay Wright.
Okay.
They're solid on both ends of the court. Miami missed like 14 layups. That's all I said. They missed 14 layups. Half of those were blocked, obviously, so credit to UConn's defense, but they're just playing like a complete team. And I said last week, they were playing better than UT did. And I was right once again,
You were right. I was wrong. Marcos,
but
who do you got?
give me UConn by 8.
Okay.
The last time UConn and San Diego State faced off was they had Kemba playing Kawhi. I'm a Spurs guy. Kawhi. Give me San Diego State.
Wow. San Diego State? Okay.
The Dogs.
You know what, man? This is going to be tough because my heart knows I should pick UConn. Like, I know it's probably going to be UConn.
Your brain knows.
I mean, my brain knows it's UConn, but my heart wants San Diego State. I want that underdog story. I want them to win.
Listen to your heart.
So I will listen to my heart like a
Let's go.
like a Disney song, and I will pick San Diego State to win this game. I think their defense is going to clamp them up. Clamp them up, baby.
And another thing, too, and history says, I don't have a full stat, but history says the team that played the closer game in the Final Four is the team that usually loses most of the time.
Interesting.
So the team that looked more dominant in the Final Four is usually the team that wins.
Wow.
I mean, not all the time, but for the most part, the team that looks the most dominant wins.
Interesting.
So.
Okay, so think about last year's Final Four. North Carolina played Duke. Was North Carolina dominant against Duke?
No.
It was close, right?
Yeah, but Kansas at the end, beat Villanova by over 10 and whatnot.
And then Kansas ended up pretty much blowing out North Carolina in the title game.
Yeah.
Or they actually came back. North Carolina blew that lead.
Yeah.
If we remember that from last year. All right, so I got San Diego
Even the
State.
year before, Gonzaga hit that buzzer beater, and then they got blown out by Baylor.
Who do you got, Dotson? San Diego State or UConn? Give us a pick.
Neither one. The third team in stripes. They always win, but I'm sure happy we have instant replay now.
So you got the referees winning.
Well, sure, always.
He always has the refs winning, Marcos.
But think of how it's helped us with instant replay. And I attended personally 25 Final Fours.
Wow.
As I recall.
When was the last Final Four you attended?
2016.
2016. That's the Chris Jenkins shot. That is in Houston.
Yeah, you remember when we used to play a constellation by the two teams in the semifinals play each other in constellation?
No, I don't.
We used to do that in Final Four.
Interesting. So Dotson Lewis, look at that. 24 Final Fours under his belt. The perfect guy to be here this morning with us on the Sunday Sports Rush. A wealth of knowledge, and we're going to tap into that for the remainder of the show. Coming up next, we continue a little bit more of our college basketball discussion because the Islanders have a new head coach. It is Shaw time on the island, and we've got some audio for you of Coach Jim Shaw, new Islanders head coach. We'll talk that. We'll talk a little bit of Caitlin Clark and her performance, so keep it locked to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back, Sunday Sports Rush, episode number 112. Whole gang is in the building. James, Marcos, Adin, and Dotson Lewis. With you till 11 a.m., 361-882-5397. Continuing our college basketball discussion, the Islanders have a new head coach on the island. He's taken over for Steve Lutz, who departed to Western Kentucky. It is Jim Shaw, the interim head coach, has been named the official head coach of the Texas A&M Corpus Christi men's basketball team. And we have gone from hashtag Let's Go to hashtag Shaw Time. So there we go. The marketing department of A&M Corpus Christi working really hard on that one. First of all, do we like hashtag Shaw Time?
I mean, it's the best that you could do with the last name.
I guess so.
Let's Go is so iconic though because it just fit.
I know.
The last name. But I mean, Shaw Time. If Shaw Time leads to more NCAA tournament,
did you get it though? The first time you heard it, like it's a play on words of Showtime. It's Shaw Time.
I didn't get
now
that
I
either.
get it.
I didn't
now
get it either.
I get it.
Okay, y'all didn't get it?
I think they should have had a graphic or something being like Showtime, and then it crosses out. It's like it's Shaw Time.
No, like like Jim McGill and Saul Gimmett. It's Shaw Time, folks.
Yeah, Shaw Time. So it's kind of like a play on words of like it's Showtime, but it's Shaw Time. You know, they're working hard over there. Put it that way. Whoever came up with that, good job.
It was probably like a marketing student that was just like needed to put something out on social media.
Some intern, yeah, just working, busting their ass. So Jim Shaw's the head coach, and he's the fifth head coach in the history of A&M Corpus Christi. He previously was the interim. Of course, we talked about that. And some of his, career accolades include the 3 conference titles in the last 2 seasons as an assistant with this team. He started, though, he has ties back to UTEP, as Dotson mentioned, and he's been coaching for quite a while. He's an acclaimed assistant head coach. He's been around. He's from San Antonio, Texas. He's from Texas, so he has deep ties in this state. And I wanted to play some audio of Jim Shaw and, some of the things he had to say this past week as the Islanders' new head coach. So let's go ahead and let's play the clip, Adin, where Jim Shaw talks about the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. Being in Division I basketball for 20 years, this is my first opportunity to be the head coach. But it also comes with a lot of responsibility. Coach, the program's in a very good place, so got to get to work immediately to keep that momentum moving forward and make the community and the Coastal Bend proud.
All right, so first impressions of Coach Jim Shaw. Sounds like a good guy. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He knows that this is an opportunity to keep the momentum going. And, he's had stops, as I mentioned, at Texas Tech, Nebraska, UTEP, Texas State, and Tarleton State. 19 years at the Division I level. And his last stop prior to A&M Corpus was at Tarleton State back in 2020, 2021. So he's been around, and hopefully Coach Shaw can keep this thing going and keep what A&M Corpus Christi has been able to build.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important part is for those guys having a familiar face in the building. You have another coach under the, I guess, Lutz tree now. And obviously Coach Lutz had unprecedented success there on the island, but I think that's the most important part for these guys is to have a familiar face that's already in the building. They don't got to bring in somebody new and put in their culture. These guys are already used to seeing him around and all that. I think that's really important.
Now, one of the questions that Coach Jim Shaw is going to have to answer here is, will he be able to keep his players? Will he be able to keep those seniors who still have one more year of eligibility and keep them from hitting the transfer portal? Jim Shaw answered that question. This audio is courtesy of Quentin Martinez of the Caller Times.
Yeah, I think there's a few phases of that. What's important now is keeping the players we have on the roster at this moment, and then we'll work with them in April as they're on campus to improve their skills. And then it's going out. We have good players, as I've mentioned before, but to go out and get some more good players, so you can have some more depth to continue that success and to try to reach the next level.
Okay, so Coach Shaw talking about keeping the players, like you mentioned, Marcos, keeping that momentum, trying to build off the success from last year. Mm-hmm. That's important. You got to keep the players. Murdix, Jalen Jackson, Mushila. Mm-hmm. I'm missing one off the top of my head.
Well, Tennyson's already gone.
Tennyson is gone, yes.
I mean, Deese,
another name that's probably, has big potential to go to a bigger school.
Keys?
DeLazarus Keys graduated. He's gone. Yeah, so got to bring these guys back, though. Got to bring these guys back.
Ross Williams is gone, too, right?
Yeah, he's gone as well. Yeah. So, but still, you got to bring that core back from last year.
Mushila's a must.
Must bring back Murdix. Must bring back Mushila. I think if you bring back those two, I think you have a really good chance to repeat. If you could bring back those 3 or 4 guys, then they have to be the favorites to do it again.
I mean, Mushila was Bill Raftery's favorite player that he saw in the tournament.
It's Isaac Mushila.
Yeah.
He's a big bowling ball, Jim. He knows how to rebound.
Works hard.
So we'll have one more audio clip of Jim Shaw that I want to get to, and this was him addressing the locker room for the first time as head coach of the Islanders men's basketball team.
There's more to accomplish, right? There's individual goals, I'm sure, on the court. Some of you want to realize that you're going to work towards, and there's academic goals as y'all get to your graduation and what have you. There's also more nets to cut down. There's more nets to cut down. There's more confetti showers to be had. All right? There's more confetti showers to be had.
Talk that.
Yeah. But there's work to be done. We got to put in more. You got to put in more work. You got to get 1% better every day. You got to stack days, which will then stack weeks, if we want to push this into another level. All right, go further than we went this past year.
Got to get 1% better every day. Got to stack days. Got to stack weeks. I like it. Did I nail that? No, I got to work on my coach, Jim Shaw. Got to work on my coach, Jim Shaw.
He has a much deeper voice than you.
I know. Damn it.
Yeah.
Why do I have this puny voice on the radio?
Same here, because I look. My voice doesn't match my physique. So.
Yeah, you're right. But so Jim Shaw's the new head coach, and like you said, it sounded like the guys in the locker room were pretty excited.
Yeah, you don't joke around with the first time head coach if you're not comfortable with them.
Here's all more confetti showers, more cutting down the nets, and some player in the background was all talk that. I like it. Hopefully we could get Coach Shaw on after the Easter break. Maybe we could catch up with him, kind of like a get to know each other. It'll be like one of those awkward first date interviews where like, so Coach, what are some of the things you enjoy? What are some of the things you like, Coach? And just kind of getting to know the guy, Dotson. What do you think?
I would suggest first that you hold that when you finish it. Hold it for a year and notice at the end of the first year how his voice has changed. When you're a head coach, have you noticed their voice changes because they yell so much and scream and all that? Have you noticed the head coaches?
I guess.
Take a look. Take a listen at some of them.
That'd be a good little experiment to run.
Just to see what has changed, because it changes.
Interesting hypothesis from Dotson Lewis.
Well, they've got a different job. He's got to work on the field. Before he was recruiting and
30
that
seconds.
kind of thing. Yeah.
You're right about that, Dotson. We'll have to keep that in mind. Jim Shaw, new head coach of the Islanders. We're excited about that. But what we are excited for is Man Card Court with Dotson Lewis coming up next. He's got the gavel. He's got his robe. He's got his fake white wig. He's ready to roll, baby. Man Card Court is...
All right, guys, I'll rise. Man Card Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Dotson Lewis presiding. His rulings are final. Once your man card has been yanked, there's no getting it back. Just kidding. Oh, and there's a $5 fine for whining, too. At this time, we must take our oath. Right hand on the Bible, left hand on your family jewels. Repeat after me. I hereby pledge to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the Man Card Court. You may be seated. Here's case number 1.
Hello, Man Card Court. I'm here to put Angels third baseman Anthony Rendon on trial. Shortly after the Angels lost on opening day to the Oakland A's, a video came out of Anthony Rendon grabbing a fan's shirt and confronting him. Anthony Rendon says the fan called him, this is for the court, this is the evidence, a bitch. And the fan acknowledges it. Judge Dotson, no matter what a fan verbally says to a player, a professional athlete should not put his hands on a fan because words were said. Confronting the fan with your own words is acceptable, but being physical crosses the line. Please take Anthony Rendon's man card. Juju from Bay Area.
Counsel for the defense.
All right, so this one is very easy, Your Honor, because first of all, this fan overstepped his boundaries. This fan called Anthony Rendon, player for the Angels, a quote-unquote bitch, right? So if that fan is man enough to do that, then that fan needs to realize that a real man will act as a real man does, and he will confront you. Now, a real man might also put hands on you. So if you're this fan who had the balls to call a professional athlete who's 20 times more in shape than you'll ever be in your life a bitch, then you better be man enough when that professional athlete steps to you and puts hands on you. The one who's the real bitch in this situation is that fan, Your Honor.
I object.
Just a second there, prosecutor.
The fan is the real bitch. The real man in this situation is Anthony Rendon for stepping to that fan and saying, you know what? Say it to my face. Do something about it. A real man acts, Your Honor. A real man uses whatever it takes, whether it's physical violence or whether it's with words. Rendon chose violence, Your Honor.
For the prosecution.
Okay, the defense attorney in his argument does not have to call the fan the B word, Your Honor. I feel like that is unwarranted. In my opinion, would you agree?
I'm not in the discussion of disagreement or not. I understand we have a witness that would listen to both of them.
Marcos, your expert witness.
Marcos, expert witness?
Yeah, expert witness. He was standing there and within eyes, thumb within, you could hear it very well.
You know, after seeing Rendon's actions against the fan, and after hearing what the fan had to say to Anthony Rendon, it's just, I feel like the fan was a little bit shook that his actions actually had consequences. And I think a grown man should realize that his actions do have consequences. And if we are in man card court, which we are we not?
I believe we are.
We are. I think that the fan's man card, personally, should be taken away.
Now, is the question who is in question here? The prosecutor?
They want
the baseball player, Anthony Rendon.
Not the spectator.
Not the spectator.
In my eyewitness opinion, and from what I gathered from the situation, I believe that it is actually the reverse. Is that Anthony Rendon is should be freed of any of these allegations, and I think the fan is more in the wrong.
Well, you're our witness. You can't really.
Well, no,
you just have to say what you have to.
He's
what
giving
you think.
me the information. He's not giving me a verdict.
I rest my case.
I agree with the witness here, Your Honor, who saw the video, who's given you his testimony. Anthony Rendon did nothing wrong. It was the fan that instigated it, and Anthony Rendon stepped up like a man. Case closed.
Thank you. It is the decision of the court that the player in question should have been able to contain himself. Therefore, man card is revoked.
Oh my God! You got to be kidding me.
You're a public person. Go right ahead with the next
case. Number 2. Good morning, man card court. I am here to put. Wait, let me get the theme going. I am here to put Astros second baseman David Hensley on man card trial. It's opening day, and the Astros had world-renowned rapper Megan Thee Stallion throw the first pitch. Now, the world knows Megan Thee Stallion is an attractive woman. But after the first pitch was thrown, she gives a hug to David Hensley, and he cops a small feel of the upper part of her rear with his glove. Judge Lewis, David Hensley is all smiling as if he got away with something. Please take away his man card for this sly act to this beautiful woman. Richard from Southside.
Simp.
Defense, please.
The expert witness, the judge has not called you yet.
So claiming he copped a feel. Look, David Hensley, I'm looking at a photo right now. Am I allowed to throw this into evidence?
Certainly. You may
All right, so I'm looking at a photo right now. David Hensley's wearing his glove. How can you cop a feel if you're wearing a glove? Technically, his hand never even touched her. His glove did. So how can you cop a feel if you're wearing a glove, Your Honor? I mean, excuse me, but I thought copping a feel was hand open, grabbing ass cheek. He never did that, Your Honor. It was just his glove that rested on top of her bottom. It's not his fault that her bottom is voluptuous, Your Honor. It's not his fault that her bottom is pretty big. It's not his fault that she obviously does squats and she works that part of her body out. They don't call her the stallion for nothing, Your Honor. You ever seen a horse's ass?
No.
You ever seen a horse's ass?
I object, Your Honor.
All right.
Hold up. Have you ever seen a horse's ass? I'm asking the judge.
The defense is getting a little out of hand.
Yes.
Okay, anyways.
Just that's enough.
I want to finish real quick, and I'm done.
Oh, better be quick.
Okay. The only thing that was out of hand was Megan Thee Stallion's butt because it was never in the hand of David Hensley. It was his glove that was touching her butt.
Thank you for the information. We have a expert witness who needs to give me the judge and the court the actual definition of copying a whatever you call it.
I think so one thing is he on trial for copying the field? Yes, that's what he's.
Yeah.
So you're saying that he should be taken, his man card should be taken away for that?
I feel it's a disrespect.
Okay, now the definition of copying a field is what I'm asking.
Basically,
I think it's a very broad example. I think it could have been hand on lower extremities, for sure. I think that it could be other parts of her body for sure.
We're just talking about the rear.
It would be, in this case, it would be the butt in question. But I think that it would have to be a part, your body touching their body.
By definition, the question is, did the accused cop a fee?
I think in copping a feel, it has to be my body or somebody's body touching another person's body.
About body to body.
Body to body contact.
Prosecutor, please, and then defense, you'll get the final say.
I just feel like it is unwarranted and it is a disrespect to the woman. That's where the argument is.
Okay. My closing argument is this. Look, he is hugging her as by evidence of the picture. He's hugging her. But nowhere in this picture that I'm pointing at do you see an open hand grabbing her lower extremities. All you see is his glove just gently resting there. He's giving her a hug. He's not copying a feel at all. He just gave her a quick hug, and they were on their way. People are making too much of a deal out of this. This is the woke media in 2023.
Nothing has to do with the woke media, Your Honor.
And I rest my case.
And that is enough. We've heard enough. It is the court decision that a man is within his rights to cop a fee. Man card not revoked.
Wow.
Yes. All right, we're going to the final case. Here we go. 1-1.
Okay, all right. Man card court. Okay, number 3. Man card court. I'm here to put an unidentified Dodgers fan on man card court. On opening day, in between innings of the Dodgers and D-backs game, the fan storms the field, then turns around, goes on one knee, and proposes to his girlfriend that's in the stands. The man immediately gets tackled Ray Lewis style and gets escorted out. Now, his girlfriend did say yes, but there should have been a more classier way of proposing at a game instead of looking like a buffoon otherwise. Judge, please take away his man card court. Michael from H-Town.
Attorney for the defense.
Okay, so we're trying to take away this guy's man card court because he proposed to his wife while on the field. Or girlfriend, right? He proposed to his girlfriend on the field. All right, what's so wrong with this? I mean,
he storms the field and gets tackled.
Everybody has ballpark proposals nowadays, right? Everybody does it in the stands. We see it. We see these guys simping out for their girls in the stands. Oh, my God, she said yes. We're clapping, clapping, clapping. This guy wanted to take it to the next level. This guy did something that most other fans would never do. This guy broke a law to freaking show his love for his girl. And guess what? That is badass. Guess what? Men sometimes break laws, Your Honor. Guess what? Sometimes I drive 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. Oh, my God. Wow, big deal. Ooh. Guess what? I drank a beer when I was 20 years old. Ah! Men have broken laws before, Your Honor. This ain't a big law that's been broken here. He is showing his love for his girl, who is now his fiancée, who's eventually going to be his wife. In my opinion, this guy showed the ultimate sacrifice by willing to get a charge on his record for love, Your Honor. A man does anything for his family and his loved ones, and that's what he did right here. He did the ultimate gesture for his girlfriend, who is now his fiancée.
I have one question. Our expert witness in this case is he is in charge of the security at the ballpark. Would you give us your opinion as to what occurred?
As the head of security in the ballpark, I did watch this fan go onto the field, and I immediately reacted. I did what I had to do, Your Honor. I ran as fast as I could up to this man who got on his knee. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know if he was pulling out a gun. I just thought he reached in his pocket, and I got there as fast as I could. You know, I ran a 4.25 in high school, so I got there as fast as I could. I lowered my shoulder, dropped my head a little bit. I know I shouldn't have done that. You got to keep the eyes up, chin up. You got to see the target. But I was just so frustrated, Your Honor. I couldn't imagine what this man was going to do. I thought he was about to have been pulling out a weapon.
Oh, my God.
I heard one of these players.
I object.
No.
I'm head of security. I'm just telling you my perspective.
I was asking him the rule and what he felt like.
I was the head of security. I'm telling you what happened.
Understand.
And so I dropped my shoulder and I laid him out.
There was head of security saying it was warranted. It wasn't a discussion of whether it's man card or not.
It should, because we
He
don't
was
know
trespassing.
Yes,
and I laid him out.
Okay.
His man card should be removed. There could have been other ways he could have proposed to his girlfriend.
Your Honor, get a hold of your courtroom, Your Honor.
Oh, why are you telling Your Honor how to control the courtroom?
Well, I'm going to clear the courtroom in a moment.
So
for contempt
my
of
final
court.
thing is this: we got a bunch of babbling little crybabies on this side.
Why are you calling us crybaby? You're on.
You may be called in contempt of court.
Worrying about what this guy's gonna do. This guy was simply proposing, Your Honor. If anybody should be held with charges, it should be that security guard for forcefully removing this man. He did not have to tackle him that hard, but that's another case for another time, which I'll be filing soon after this.
Thank you very much.
The antics speak
I
for
laid
itself,
him
Your
out.
Honor.
Okay.
I rest my case.
Are you arresting it? Thank goodness.
All right. I'm resting my case, too.
It's the opinion of this court that the young man is being charged. The man card definitely is not revoked.
Yes!
Oh!
Yes, I won!
Okay, we have a little bonus. Man. It's not really a man card case, but me and James had a heated debate with Alex and Marcos last night about.
Just a moment. It's James and I, please.
James and I.
Yes.
Have a vocabulary.
What's your Carroll education? Hurry up.
Wow, Dougie, if you're listening, did you hear that? Calling our name. Anyway.
Go.
So James and I had a heated debate with Alex and Marcos about the attractiveness of WWE Women's Champion, right? SmackDown Champion.
Women's Champion Rhea Ripley.
This is the girl.
Rhea Ripley. She is a woman.
Why do we have to have a qualifier?
Now, she does work out and is built, she's built more muscular than most women. We feel that me and James feel she's an attractive woman. Marcos and Alex disagree. Respectfully.
There's nothing wrong with that. And if anybody should have the Stallion nickname, it's probably Rhea Ripley.
Now,
you look at her.
Dotson, we need your opinion because you're a man's man, and we need your opinion on whether or not this woman's attractive or not.
And also, her nickname is Mommy. They call her Mommy.
That's your nickname.
Did you want to? We have the audio.
No, that is her legit nickname.
Dotson, you didn't want to hear what this woman sounds like, right?
She's Australian, by the way.
Let me.
I've been there.
Play it. It's up there.
She sounds like she smoked a 6-pack before breakfast.
Yeah, good for Ray. He's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's a massive accomplishment, and he should be proud of himself. But the one thing that he can't be proud of himself for is being a good father.
Now we also do have photos.
I have the photo. I've seen the photo.
All right, so Dotson.
So what is your opinion? Is
now
she?
I need your. I want to answer your question. What are you asking? Is she
hot or not?
Should she be hot in the eyes of a man?
Yeah.
Hot or not? It's that simple.
Is it your opinion?
Respectfully, is she attractive or is she not?
Holds true. Oh, I can see it. She is not attractive.
Oh, we lost.
Damn it, Dotson. All right. It is what it is. Hey, hold up. So when we come back, we got a sports grab bag, and we're going to end the show. We got one more segment left with you, Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush, episode number 112, where we just had a contentious but absolutely wheels off man card court.
I mean, was I not as strong as I usually am?
You just had no cases. The cases were horrible.
Yeah,
for
the
you.
cases were weak. It was an easy layup for me, or as I should say, a easy home run.
Well, it was
for me.
It's educational for the listener.
Exactly, and it was Marcos's first time in man card court, and I'd say he did a damn good job.
And usually my cases, I mean, they could be stronger, but usually James tanks his argument by saying something completely out of the ballpark. So I guess you didn't do it as much.
No,
if he missed any of these ones, then that's kind of.
James is usually the anti-Saul Goodman when it comes to defense. And so
there's usually no defense.
I guess
I'm just happy that I was a security guard.
That was good. Good performance by Marcos. Good performance by all.
I thought the tackle was rather high, didn't you?
Yeah, me too. That was a stunning tackle on that hit of that fan who proposed to his now fiance at the Dodgers game.
No, they should be married by now.
Hopefully.
He's probably
right
still
away.
in the clink.
I hope he got some kind of severance package that night for taking a tackle.
You didn't file that against him. Actually, you withdrew the charges.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, the charges were dropped. So thank you guys for being here. We got one more segment left with you. I wanted to highlight one player who has absolutely taken America by storm. And, you know, not a lot of people pay attention to the women's game. There's just not a lot of women's basketball fans, but there is a strong contingent of fans out there that support women's basketball. And us here, you know, we support the Islanders women's basketball team. We support Doug. He's the play-by-play guy for them. And this name has been popping up all over. I've seen this name since the beginning of the season. It's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
It is the guard from Iowa, junior, by the way, averaging 27 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists per game, shooting 48% from the field per game. And this past week, or in the semifinal against undefeated South Carolina in the Final Four, she dropped 41 points.
Yeah, she can leave after the season if she wants to, but she has another year of eligibility because of the COVID year, I believe.
Yes.
She needs to get a bag.
Yeah.
Either way.
Well, I think NIL will be able to get her a bag in Iowa, and she could probably stay in Iowa, make money, and then go to the WNBA.
This woman is simply built different. She has Steph Curry range on her threes. Like, just her fluidity, it's like, you know, I mean, she's just good.
There was so many moments in that game against South Carolina where she was pulling up and she would have the ball, and I was thinking there's no way she's going to take that shot. She would get a screen, step back, and just absolutely sink it. Nothing but net.
I mean, she plays like Steph.
And you know what? Yeah, exactly. She plays like Steph, like you said. And you know what? It's not just her shot making, it's her passing, too. She's a great passer, and she sets up her team so well. And tonight, Iowa will be playing LSU in the final of the women's Final Four up in Dallas. Kim Mulkey and LSU against Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's the only player in women's college basketball history to have 900 points and 300 assists in a season.
Crazy.
So she is distributing the rock really well.
And another stat, in the 4, I believe there's 4 games so far that she's played. She herself has outscored the Iowa football team, 235 to 230.
Yes. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. That's kind of crazy.
So imagine an individual player, okay, putting up the same points as a football team in a game, right?
Yep.
But Iowa's play, 12, 13 games?
Yeah.
It just shows how opposite they are. It's funny.
So against Louisville in the regional championship, she dropped 41 points and shot 57% from 3.
And she smack talks too, dude.
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean, she's been going off, and she's fun to watch. And if you have time tonight, or actually not tonight, this game's happening at 2:30 p.m. If you have time this afternoon, make sure you tune into ABC at 2:30 and watch Iowa versus LSU. I think that's going to be a must-watch game.
For those of you, I don't want to watch women's college basketball. No, this girl's legit. Caitlin Clark is one of the most entertaining basketball players that you'll ever watch.
And let's be real, LSU, they're kind of been talking a little bit smack themselves. Kim Mulkey, she's a great coach. I'm not going to discredit her, but she's very controversial.
She's a little wheels off.
She kind of threw Brittany Griner on the bus when she got arrested, and that's a former player of hers.
Yep. Do you ever have any dealings with Kim Mulkey?
Quite a few.
Dotson Lewis?
Back in Southwest Conference.
So has she always been this
Very
brash,
fiery.
Yep.
abrasive?
Yeah. But Joy and some of the other ladies didn't put up with a lot of her stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
Joy Conrad.
Interesting.
But she could coach.
She can coach.
And did you see, and people like to watch what she does, did you see how she was dressed?
Yes.
Did you see how her granddaughter was dressed?
No, I missed that part.
The same thing.
But I saw how the way Kim Mulkey, she dresses very bright.
But she runs a tight ship.
I can imagine.
She helped change, she and Jody Conrad and Simmons, what's her name from?
Gene.
Yeah.
Gene Simmons.
Yeah. They changed girls basketball.
Yeah, she's going for her fourth championship. She's trying to go for. This is her fifth Final Four, fourth national championship appearance. She won 3 titles at Baylor.
I mean, look, she's up there with the Genos. She's up there with
Pat
the
Summitt,
Pat Summits.
Tara Vanderveer.
The lady.
She's up there. Like, she is one of the top women's coaches of all time.
The lady, what was her name? Summit? I'm trying to remember.
Pat Summitt.
Pat Summitt.
Mm-hmm.
She and Jody Conrad. Those 3 ladies.
Jody Conrad was the Texas coach.
Yes,
I remember that.
Athletic director.
Texas Longhorn women's basketball coach, correct?
They changed the face of basketball as
Interesting.
far as the coaches go.
So if you have time today, sports fan out there who listens to this show because you are a sports fan.
And if you're a basketball fan.
Take my recommendation. Take our recommendation. 2:30, go to ABC, LSU, Iowa, the women's national championship. Watch Caitlin Clark. Star power in this. More star power in the women's Final Four than the entire men's Final Four. And that's not even a joke, because there's a lot of names in this women's Final Four as opposed to the men's, who was kind of more of an underdog Final Four. Just kind of throwing that out there.
Some of you remember guys that are thinking about it, and ladies, they play full court now.
Yes.
The ladies used to only go half court.
That's kind of crazy. Go ahead, Marcos.
Just to clarify, Gene Simmons is the guy from Kiss.
Yes.
Wait, you said Gene Simmons said Ariema?
Yeah. I wanted to let that one slide. I wasn't trying to correct you. I was just letting it slide. But thank you for the correction. That shows that you got integrity.
Yeah.
You are a very integrity person. All right. That's going to wrap it up. A very integrity person's a wheels off comment.
That's a good word.
All right. That wraps it up. Dotson, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
We appreciate you, good sir. Adin, good job back there.
Hey.
Marcos, glad to have you back in the studio.
Thanks, James. It's been fun.
And thank you to everybody who listened. Thank you to everybody who texted in. Episode 112 is in the books. Hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday. For Adin Ducker, Marcos Matakin, Dotson Lewis, I'm James Espinosa. No more questions. We'll talk to you soon.